Now let us start a new point, that is 1.5.4 business risk. Okay, so which are the kind of business risk which come in the business in our day-to-day life. Okay, so see, there is an uncertainty of profit or risk of loss in the business. The uncertain events of the future affect the profit. See, uncertain word I have explained to you, very nice, that anything can happen in future. Okay, nothing can be predicted. Thus it can be said that profit is the reward against business risk. Okay, remember this line also. Okay, that suppose if it is asked that dash is a reward against business risk, so profit is a reward against business risk. Now see, there are two types of risk in business: natural risk and man-made risk. Okay, so see, natural risks are like earthquake, flood, etc. that hinder means that comes in between. Okay, the growth of, coming in between the growth of. Okay, so hinder means comes in between. Okay, so hinder comes in between, that it is affecting the growth of the business and destroy or damage the asset of a business. The business has no control over natural risk. Okay, no one can control the business, that is natural risk in business. Okay, then man-made risk, which are created by us. So see, man-made risk hinder the development of business, and as a result business has to suffer the loss. These risks are strike of employees, change in the technology. Okay, for example, change in technology, I can give you that previously there were VCRs. Okay, now there are CDs are available. Okay, DVDs are available. So this is nothing but change in technology. Another example, previously there were typewriters, now there are computers. Okay, change in taste and demand of customers. Political instability means if there is BJP ruling and suddenly it is being changed, or Congress come, or till now it was Congress who was ruling and now BJP is in the power. Okay, so there are many instabilities, political powers when they are changing. Okay, they changed many policies also, so this affect the business. Risk of competition, which is always there in the market. So these are all nothing but these are the list of man-made risk. Okay, now what are the different causes of business risk? We'll see the next point, that is 1.5.5 causes of business risk. See here, I have given the key point, that is CUP, cup and TLC. Okay, so here you can do the points up and down. We will see here. Okay, I have listed in this, that is business risk. So there are two type of risk: natural risk and man-made risk. Okay, then it is causes of business risk. So here I have written, that is CUP, TLC. So the first point is, that is change in technology. Second cause is uncertainty of demand. Third is physical risk. Fourth is threat of substitute product. Fifth is legislation, and sixth is competition. Okay, we will see in detail. See here, coming back to textbook. First point, that is change in technology. I have explained you that typewriters were there and then computer came. Okay, so these are all nothing but change in technology. So see, changes are necessary in production method due to invention in technology. New technology is to be adapted to produce high quality of goods. If you are using new quality, then the production will also be of high quality and the number of production will also increase. Okay, new machineries have to be installed for the replacement of old machineries. So this is again one cause of business risk. A person who cannot afford a new technology, then he might be out of the market, because his goods will be outdated goods. Okay, because he is not producing a good quality, or better quality is being produced by the person who is having this technology, or who can afford this technology. Okay, then threat of substitute product. Okay, see how they have given example of substitute product. Ball pen can be used in place of fountain pen. Vessels of steel can be used in place of copper and brass. Television in place of radio. Okay, nowadays old televisions were there, now there is LCD and LEDs are available. So there are many substitute products. Okay, so the customer may turn to substitute product due to change in technology. Okay, so previously that big televisions were there, now there are small and thin LCD and LEDs televisions are there. So it is possible that the customers will always go for the new technology products. So there are many substitute products which are available in the market. So that is also one of the cause of business risk. Then it is coming to, that is competition. Competition increases the business risk. which directly affect the business of a business profit. The sale price of the product is to be reduced and advertisement expenses are to be incurred by the business unit to maintain its position in market and to face competition, thus profit get reduced. Because of the competition, you have to see that what price is being offered by your competitor. Now if you want to go to that particular price, you have to reduce your profit margin and you have to reduce your selling price, plus you have to do good kind of advertisement also, so advertisement expenses will become more. So here likewise you have to reduce your profit ratio and you have to face the competition. Okay, so that is also one of the cause of business risk. We'll see the next one, that is legislation. Okay, so see your legislation. Government formulates law regarding pollution, customers, workers, industry, etc. But these laws risk for business. For example, Minimum Wage Act is there, Factory Act is there. They hinder the business in decision making. Okay, all the companies, all the firms, all the business units have to follow this legislations. That is the government rules which are being framed by the government. Okay, so we have to take care of all this thing, and taking care of all this thing, that is sometimes we have to bear expenses also. Okay, for example, VAT was not there. Okay, GST was not there previously. Now all this burden has came on the businessman, so this is also one kind of the risk. Okay, as government changed, this all taxes were levied on the business institutions. Okay, so these are the examples, that is sometimes we have to follow the rules and regulations which are formed by the government. Okay, then see uncertainty of demand. Okay, uncertainty of demand for the product creates the risk for business. Changes in customers' income, okay, taste, product price, inflation, etc. create uncertainty for demand, which affect the profit of the business. Okay, uncertainty of demand. Sometimes there is demand and sometimes if you see there is no demand. Okay, so all these things, that is sometimes the product prices are high, then demand is less. If the product prices are low, then demand is increasing. So it is vice versa process. Okay, so it depends upon the situation and circumstances. So here this is also one of the causes of business risk. Next is physical risk. Damage to the assets which are utilized in business create physical risk. Okay, non-functioning of machinery and equipment, damage in transit of goods create physical risk. See, damage to your asset, okay, it is also your one of the physical risk. Okay, now your machinery is old, your equipments are old, so they need more repairing work, they are sometime out of use. Okay, so this all is one kind of physical risk which may affect your business. Okay, that is transit in goods. When your goods are being, what do you mean by transit of goods? Okay, that is your goods are going from one place to another. Okay, so that is known as transit of goods. Okay, so they are on the way, they are not with the purchaser also, they are not with the seller also. So if in during transportation process, in between on highway or in between on road, if the goods are damaged, so that is also coming under physical risk. Okay, so these are the different causes of risk which take place in the business. Okay, now we will start our new point, that is profession. So see, your business is over. Okay, how many points we have seen in business? Okay, we have seen that there are three types of see, we have seen like this, that there are three types of economic activity. One was business, second is profession, and third is employment. So we have seen the definition of business. Okay, then we have seen the characteristics of business. Okay, see, we have discussed the characteristics of business, we have discussed the objectives of business, then we have discussed the risk which is involved in the business, and in that we have seen the causes of business risk. So here your first economic activity gets over. Okay, and we will shift to our next economic activity, that is profession. Okay, see here now, profession. A person with specialized skill, knowledge, training and professional education renders services. Renders mean give. Okay, so your service is being offered, and in return what you are receiving, so you are receiving the fees. It is called profession. So see, in profession what is there? A person with some specialized skill. Doctor have specialized skill, they have specialized knowledge, they have taken training. Okay, they have some professional education related to that, and what they are doing, so they are rendering the service, and in return what they are getting, they are getting the fees. It is called profession. So you can remember this in parts. Okay, the definition of profession. First part is what? A person with specialized skill, knowledge, training and professional education. Remember till here. Then what they are rendering, so they are rendering service, and in exchange of that they are receiving the fees. That is called profession. Okay, so remember this definition of profession. A professional has to obtain the membership of respective professional association. Okay, he will be a member, that is, he will be a member of a particular association. Doctors association is there, chartered accountant association is there, teachers association is there, lawyers association is there. So they will be a part of that particular association. He has to obey the established code of conduct of association. It means there are some rules and regulations how they are supposed to behave, so they have to follow that particular code of conduct. Okay, next is chartered accountant. They have given example. Chartered accountant has to have professional qualification of CA and has to become a member of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. Okay, so they have given an example that if chartered accountant is there, then he has to pass out the CA exam, and then he has to be a member of Chartered Accountant of India. Okay, same way this is also applicable to doctors, lawyers, solicitors, etc. Okay, are all professional persons. Professional skill can also be used for employment. Okay, see, now professional skill can also be used for employment. For example, when a doctor accepts to render service in hospital in return of salary, it is called employment. The hospital is run by someone else, okay, and the doctor is going and giving his service there, so that can be treated as employment. Clear? So that is also one of the example that profession, a person is though a professional doctor, but if he is going and doing the service in somebody's else hospital and he is not having his own clinic, okay, so in that case it will be treated as employment because he will be getting the monthly. Let us see the characteristics of profession now. Okay, see here there is a keyword which is being given for the characteristics of a profession, that is spin of PM. Okay, so here all are there. Okay, I have rearranged and I have written separately, so I'm showing you that. See here, okay, that is spin of PM. Okay, so we will see that. First, PC, professional has to obtain specialized knowledge, skill and professional education. Okay, in the definition itself we have seen that a person with specialized skill, knowledge, training and professional education. Okay, so this is the first key part. I have told you to learn the definition of profession in part. Okay, so this first is the first characteristics of profession, that any professional person will be having at least special knowledge, skill and professional education. Okay, this you can remember as SP. Okay, so specialized knowledge is there, skill is there and P is there. Okay, so SSP. Okay, you can remember like this. Okay, SSP. Then see second, okay, which stands for I. So I, that is independent activity for earning. Okay, so you are not supposed to go anywhere and you are not supposed to work under any person. Okay, you can do your all work by your own. So second thing, the second characteristic is that is it is an independent activity for earning. Clear? Then no relation with production, but it satisfied personal and business needs. Okay, here there is no relation with production. Doctor is not going to produce anything, lawyer is not going to produce anything, but here production process is not taken, but here the service is being rendered. Okay, so that is your third characteristic. Then see the fourth one. Again this also, okay, that is we have seen in the explanation of profession that each and every professional body has to follow some code of conduct which is laid down by the respective professional association. Why they have said respective professional association? Because see, if there is doctor, so they have doctors association, so whatever code of conduct is being framed by that association, they have to follow that. Okay, code of conduct. Same way lawyer, so the lawyers association, whatever code of conduct they will frame, they have to follow that. Same way teachers association, whatever the association have framed the code of conduct for the teachers, all the teachers have to follow that. Okay, so respective professional association means whichever profession is there, okay, that special code of conducts they have to follow. That is, in short, what do you remember code of conduct? That is all rules and regulation. Okay, so these are nothing but rules and regulations are there. Clear? Then what is the next one? So F. Okay, so here fees is charged, okay, and it varies as per skill, knowledge and experience. So here you are not getting salary, but you are charging the fees, okay, and it varies from person to person, that is according to their skill, knowledge and experience. You might have visits to doctor. Some doctors fees, they have charge for the first meeting 500, few of them charge 2000 rupees, and few of them charge also 100 rupees, okay. So it depends and it varies from the person skill to skill. Same way some of the lawyers, for one case they are charging 1 lakh, and some of the lawyers they are charging 10,000. So again it depends upon their experience, skill and everything, okay. The next, that is till here we have seen. Now P and M. So the next point is, that is primary objective is to render service, okay. What is the main objective here? So that is, in profession there is no production taking place, there is no selling taking place, okay. So what is here taking place? That is service is being rendered, okay. And monetary return, next one, remains uncertain. I told you that according to their skill, according to their knowledge, according to their experience, they charge the fees, okay. Some of the doctors are charging 100 rupees, some are charging 1000, some are charging 2000, okay. Same way lawyers, some are charging 10,000 for one case, same case some are charging 1 lakh rupees. So it depends, it is uncertain, okay. That again, every day you will not get certain amount, okay. It is not fixed that per day you will get this much amount, okay. So it depends, it varies from day to day, it varies from case to case, it varies from person to person. So your monetary return remains uncertain. Clear till here, all of you? Now we will start our next point, that is employment, okay. So here see, what is the meaning of employment? Employment means job, okay. So whenever you are doing job under someone, okay, so that is known as employment. It is an economic activity performed in return for a fixed salary, where work is assigned as per the contract, okay. For example, a teacher teaching in a school, or a government employee, so that is nothing but that is one example of that is employment, okay. So there are many shops, and sometimes they are hiring some salesman or anything, okay. So that is nothing but they are doing job in that particular shop, okay. Again, now we will see the characteristics of employment, okay. I have given the keyword, that is PFQ bond. So whenever employment you have to remember this keyword. Again, I have written this in a sequence, okay. See here, characteristics of employment, okay. First characteristic, C, perform the assigned work as per the contract under the control of employer, okay. When you are doing job, if I am doing a job, I am employee. Where I am doing the job, the owner of that particular shop or the owner of that particular institution will be known as employer, okay. So be clear with this two word, employer and employee, okay. Employer, okay, this means the owner, okay. Employee means when we are working and doing the job, okay. So whatever as per the contract we have decided with the employer that this much work I have to do, so here the work is assigned to them according to the contract, okay. Second is, fixed salary is paid at fixed interval in return of physical or mental work, okay. So here we are getting some fixed salary, okay. See, suppose a laborer is there, okay, a worker is there, then he will do the physical work, okay. If some accountant is there, okay, and or some advisor is there, so he will be doing mental work, okay. So it depends that there will be physical work or mental work, but for that work what they are getting a fixed salary at a fixed period of interval, that is either every 10th of month or every 5th of the month, okay. So they will be getting the salary. Third C point, that is Q, qualification, working hours, retirement benefit after retirement, etc. are predetermined. All this is predetermined. For example, if there is an accountant, so at least he should be MCom passed, or he might have done the course of Tally, okay. So that is some qualification based. The working hours are fixed. When they will retire, that is fixed. What kind of benefits after retirement, that is pension is there, okay. Gratuity is there. So what are the special benefits after retirement they will be receiving, that all are predetermined, okay. Predetermined means previously decided, okay. Next point, both employer and employee are bound to follow the rules as per the contract, okay. Both the employer and employee, whatever rules are being framed by government under such condition, they have to follow it, okay. Next, other benefits are available in addition to salary. salary they will receive, but there are other allowances also which will be received by them. That is medical allowance is there, pension is there, sometimes traveling allowances also is being given. Okay, so there are many allowances which are given to them rather than their salary. Then no capital investment is needed. Okay, see, suppose if it is a profession, then the lawyer has to arrange just he has to take some place where he will sit and he will solve his cases and he will do the work there. Okay, rather than going to the court, so he has to hire some place or he has to take some shop, okay, either on rent or of his own. Okay, so here there is capital investment needed. Okay, same way doctor, if he wants to open a clinic, he has to get some shop or some place, okay, where he can start his clinic. So there capital investment is needed, but in this case employment, there is no capital investment needed. Okay, next, it is dependent activity. There we have seen, see, profession is independent activity. Why? Because we are not supposed to work under anyone. Here this is dependent activity. Why? Because we will be always working under the employer. Okay, so always dependent on employer. Clear? So these are the characteristics of employment. Okay, now we will start the comparison of business, profession and employment. Again, here the keyword is NCRTQRC. Okay, that you can write down in a book like this. Okay, that is N, nature of work, capital, then risk, then transfer of ownership, qualification, risk, and then code of conduct. So on the basis of all this point, you can write down easily the comparison among all this point. See, first point is, that is nature of work. Okay, so in business, what work we are doing? Goods and services both are supplied to customer in exchange of money. Okay, so in business both the things come, goods are also coming, services are also coming, and they are being given to the customer in exchange of money. What takes place in profession? So personal and business services are rendered. Okay, here what you will say, only services are being offered, and in that is offered in exchange of fees. Okay, then in employment, what is there? So performing work as per the rule and contract, whatever we have decided in the contract, that we have seen, that is the first characteristics of employment, that they perform the work according to the according to which it has been decided by the employer and employee both, what is decided in contract. So according to contract, whatever work the employee has to do, they will do work according to that. Okay, so that is nature of. Now we will see the second point, that is qualification. So here in business there is no qualification required. Okay, even the SSC pass or even a person who has not cleared SSC, they can also start the business. They only need, that is finance. Okay, then in profession, we know that in profession there is a special qualification is needed, skill is needed. Okay, professional education is there. So educational qualification, training and expertise knowledge are essential. Okay, in employment, qualification is required as per the nature of job. Okay, so if a simple salesman is there, then if he is uneducated, then also he can do the job. Okay, for example, if a doctor is there and he is going to work in some hospital, then he should require the degree of doctor. Okay, so it depends upon the nature of job. Okay, then third point, that is reward or return. Okay, so what you are getting in business? So in business we get profit as a return, in profession we get fees as a return. Okay, and in employment we get salary or wages as in return. Okay, so here the return is different for all the 3 points. Next, that is capital. Okay, in business capital is required as per the nature and type of business. Previously only I told that at least you need the finance to start the business. Okay, so as according to the type of business and nature, if it is a big business, okay, large scale business, then you need a huge amount of capital. If it is a small scale business, then you need little bit of amount of capital. Okay, profession, limited capital is required at the time of establishment. That is, either you can take a shop on rent also and you can start your profession. Okay, so limited capital is needed here. In employment there is no need of any capital, because the full capital will be that is the full investment will be done by the employer, and you no need to do any kind of investment. Okay, risk, see, as your capital is there, so risk is also there. So uncertainty of profit and risk of loss remain in business. So there will be always in business that, why risk is there always in business? Because you are investing your own money. Risk of non-receipt of certain fees, in some cases there is a possibility that you will not get the fees. Okay, so that kind of risk is involved here. Less risk remain, because you will be getting your fixed salary, business takes place or not. Okay, you will get the fixed salary per month. Okay, so here there is very less risk. Okay, then code of conduct. Legal provisions are to be followed. In business, what is to be done? Whatever the legal regulations formed by the government, you have to follow that. Okay, then here code of conduct is to be followed as prescribed by the professional association. Whatever your association is saying, you have to follow that code of conduct, that is that rules you have to follow. Rules specified in its agreement are to be followed. Okay, when the agreement is being formed between the employer and then the employee, okay, so whatever rules are formed, that rules are to be followed by the employee. Okay, then transfer of ownership. Transfer of ownership is possible. See, what do you mean by transfer of ownership? For example, your business is of manufacturing some detergent powder, okay, and if you want to sell that particular factory, so you can sell that particular factory, and that is known as transfer of ownership. Okay, till now when you were the owner, the power of ownership was with you. Now somebody is purchasing your whole business, so transfer of ownership takes place. The whole business is shifted from your name to that party's name. Okay, transfer of ownership is not possible. A doctor cannot transfer his knowledge to another one. Okay, so here the transfer of ownership is not possible. Okay, no title of ownership. That is not your shop. Okay, that is not your business that you can transfer your business to someone else. Okay, you yourself are working under the employer. Okay, so here there is no point of any transfer of ownership. Clear? So these are the comparisons which are taking place between business, profession and employment. Now let us start the new point, that is classification of business activities. Okay, business activities are classified into three categories: trade, commerce and industry. Okay, so these are the 3 points. Please do not get confused. Okay, previously which we have learned, that is business, profession and employment, that are the 3 types of economic activity. Okay, again I am repeating, if they are asking you classification of economic activity, then it will be business, profession, employment. Now these are classification of business activity. Okay, so in business what will be there? Trade is there, commerce is there and industry is there. Okay, and we will be starting our first point, that is trade. Okay, so here what do you mean by trade? See, in simple words, when you are exchanging goods or services in return of money, that is known as a trade. Okay, in simple words, remember that much, that whenever exchange of goods and services takes place in exchange of money, that is called trade. See here what they have given: exchange of goods or services in return of commodity or service, or exchange of commodity or service in return of the motive of profit between two persons is called trade. See, first what they have told, commodity or service is exchanged, okay, or service is exchange of commodity or service in return of money. Either you are giving service or you are giving commodity in exchange of money. In simple words, remember that much. Okay, with the motive of profit between two persons, this things takes place, so that is known as trade. See, when you purchase a book from shopkeeper, you pay money against the purchase of the book. Here the exchange of commodity is done in return of money. Okay, you are purchasing a commodity and you are paying the money. When you purchase bus ticket, travel by bus, you get exchange of service in return of money. So these are both the example of goods and services. Okay, goods and commodity are one and the same. Okay, in one case you are purchasing a book and you are paying the money. In other thing you are purchasing a bus ticket, so here you are getting a service of transportation which will take you from one place to another place. So your service is coming, okay, for which you are paying money. So that is known as trade. Okay, now we will see the characteristics of trade. Okay, again there is a key point: ETC, ETE and VL. Okay, that I have already written in a book separately, which I'll show to you. Okay, and we'll discuss that only. See here. Okay, the meaning of trade in short, in simple way. Okay, exchange of commodity or service in return of money means trade. And now that is the characteristics of trade. Okay, what are the characteristics of trade? ETC, ETE and VL. First, it is an economic activity. Why it is an economic activity? Because money is coming into consideration. Second, what is there? Two parties are there in trade. One is purchaser and one is seller. Third, it will be a continuous activity. Okay, it is not like that 2 days you will do trade and third day or fourth day you will not do. So you will be doing this activity on continuous basis. Then exchange is essential in trade. Okay, we have seen itself in the definition that exchange of goods and services take place in return of money. So your exchange is essential. Then we'll see that is transfer of ownership of goods and services are done. Okay, transfer of ownership, how? See, in the definition in textbook it is given that when you go and purchase the textbook, okay, see, so when you're going and purchasing the textbook, okay, what will happen? So you are paying the money and textbook is with you now. Okay, so the ownership of goods takes place. Okay, that is now that book is coming under your own ownership. Okay, and same with services also. Okay, they are taking for in the textbook they have given an example that you will purchase the bus ticket, so you will travel from one place to another place. So your transfer of ownership takes place. Then exchange of goods, either an amount is paid or goods are exchange. Okay, either you will pay the amount, you will pay the money, or like barter system you will exchange the goods. That also can take place. Okay, then 7th, value of good or services is determined in terms of money itself. We know that it is an economic activity, so your money is paid. Okay, then next, it is a legal activity. Whenever you do the business, in business itself we have seen that there is a legal word. Okay, so it should be a legal activity, okay, which takes place in trade. Okay, so these are the characteristics of trade. Okay, now we will see the types of trade. Okay, so there are two types of trade. One is internal trade and one is international trade. Okay, international trade is also known as foreign trade. Okay, here this two, here there is a small point, but in detail your second last for example last 2-3 chapters you will see that there is the whole chapter on internal trade and international trade. Okay, see now what is there in internal trade? Trade among different regions within the boundaries of a country is called internal trade. Okay, so you are not crossing the boundary of India and you are doing the business within India only, so that is known as internal trade. A trader of Ahmedabad purchased boxes of apple from Kashmir, or a trader of Nagpur send orange to Rajkot. These are the example of internal trade. Okay, from the viewpoint of distribution, internal trade are divided into two parts. Okay, that is wholesale trade and retail trade. Wholesale, that is bulk. Okay, so a wholesaler purchase goods in bulk from producer and distribute them to the retailer as per his requirement. The wholesaler is a connecting link between producer and retailer. Okay, remember this also. Okay, this line, that is the wholesaler is a connecting link between producer and retailer. Okay, because he is coming in between the producer and the retailer. In retail trade, a retailer purchase goods from the wholesaler and supply them to the customer as per the requirement. So first of all, who is there? Manufacturer is there. Then who will come? So wholesaler will come. Then who will come? So retailer will come. And then who will come? So customer will come. Okay, so see, it is a link like this, that first of all, who is there? So manufacturer is there. Then who comes? So wholesaler comes. Okay, then who comes? So retailer is there. And then who is there? So at the end there is a customer. Okay, so this is the link how the goods are reaching from manufacturer to the customer. Okay, next we will see that is international trade. Okay, so now the trade between two countries is called international trade. When you are crossing the boundaries and you are going and doing business from outside India with someone, so that is known as international trade. Okay, here they have given an example. See, a Japanese company selling television to Indian trader. Okay, this is what, this is an example of import. Okay, in international trade there are two types of trade. One is import trade, another is export trade. Okay, so when you are bringing something from other country to India, okay, so here what, a Japanese company is selling television to an Indian trader, so you are bringing foreign products to India, so that is known as import trade. Okay, next example they have given, Kesar mango being sent from India to USA, so this is an example of export trade. Okay, so in international or foreign trade there are two types of trade. One is import trade and one is export trade. When you are sending something from India to other country, okay, that is known as export. When you are bringing some goods from other country to India, that is an example of import trade. Okay, again international trade, again they have given same, that is import trade, export trade and re-export trade. That is two times you are exporting. Okay, Then we will be seeing the next topic, that is commerce. Okay, so the first that is the first classification of business is over, that is trade. Now we will see that what is there in commerce. Okay, so see, commerce mean trade and auxiliary service. So see, remember what is coming into commerce. So commerce is equals to trade plus auxiliary services. Okay, so trade you have already learned what is trade. Now commerce is nothing but commerce is a combination of both, that is trade plus auxiliary services. Okay, and what is this auxiliary services? So see, auxiliary services are nothing but banking is there, insurance is there, transportation is there, communication is there, warehousing is there. Okay, other agents are there, those who are helping to do your business smoothly. Okay, so this is known as commerce. Okay, so when trade and auxiliary service both comes together, it becomes commerce. The world has become a global village from the viewpoint of trade and its auxiliary service. Okay, now you can do business anywhere. Okay, so now the whole world has become a global village. Okay, now we will see the characteristics. Okay, again there is a key point, that is 3A tie. Okay, so here again I'll show you here in the book how I have written. Okay, so these are the characteristics of commerce. Okay, see, auxiliary services helpful to trade are included in commerce. Okay, so here the services like banking, insurance, these are helping to trade. Okay, and when auxiliary service plus trade comes that is included, so it becomes, that is commerce. Okay, so trade plus auxiliary services, that is equals to commerce. In simple words, remember like this. Okay, auxiliary services are demand oriented yet continuous. See, demand oriented, if you need to take the help of warehouse, what is warehouse? That is godowns. Okay, if you need to store your goods somewhere, so it is demand oriented. If you need, then only you can use. If you don't need, then it is okay. Okay, so all the services, they are not telling you, they are not forcing you, but if you need, you can take help of that services. So they are demand oriented. Okay, yet they are continuously being able to use. Next, auxiliary services are available at a reasonable price. Okay, that is fair price. Okay, you are not supposed to pay much amount for that service. Okay, so they are available at a reasonable price to you. Trade is a part of commerce. See, itself in the definition of commerce, what is coming? That is trade plus auxiliary service. So trade is a part of commerce. Then the next point, that is increased time and place utility of goods. See, in the characteristics of business, we have seen that creation of utility, there were 3 types of utility: form utility, time utility, and place utility. Okay, so here what is their time utility and place utility? Time utility means it is been it is being stored, okay, until the season does not come. Okay, though production is taking place throughout the year, but they are stored at some place. So that is what go down, and go down is what? That is warehouse. Warehouse is what? So that is auxiliary service. Okay, so that is we are taking help of auxiliary service. So that this utility is there. Then place utility. Place utility means the product from production place. Okay, your goods are transferred to market. So that is the place utility. So that both the utilities are coming here. Okay, so increases time and place utility of good. That is in commerce. Why? Because we are taking this the help of warehouse and transportation, and both warehouse and transportation are coming. See, here I have written, okay, transportation and warehouse. Okay, both are what? So both are auxiliary services. Okay, then it is an economic activity. Why? Because here we are getting money in return, so it is an economic activity. Clear? Then we will be going to difference between trade and commerce. So again there are 3 points: MPS, meaning, scope, and parties. Okay, that we will see. See here, that is difference between trade and commerce. Okay, so here the definition first is meaning, then it is scope, and then it is parties are there. Okay, so first of all, meaning of trade. Okay, exchange of goods and services in return of money. Okay, here what do you mean by commerce? So commerce include trade and auxiliary service. Formula wise I have taught you that commerce is equals to trade plus auxiliary service. Here scope of trade is limited. Why? Because many things are not covering under that. Okay, here why the scope of commerce is wider? Because many auxiliary services are included in commerce. So here the scope is wider, whereas here in trade the scope is limited. Parties, both the parties of trade are mostly known to each other. Okay, because there is a limited business. Okay, here as the business is very vast, wider. Okay, so here it is necessary, it is not compulsory that both the parties may be they might not be knowing each other. Okay, as they are at distant places. So because of the auxiliary services are coming in between, okay, these facilities can be given at distant places, and it is possible that they might not be known to each other. They might be unknown to each other. Okay, so here that is the difference between trade and commerce related to party, scope and meaning. I hope the difference between is clear to you. Okay, now we will be shifting to the third part of business activity. Okay, again I'll repeat, three types of economic activities there. One is business, one is profession, and one is that is employment. Okay, and now three types of business, that is classification of business. Okay, so there are three types of business activities. First is trade, second is commerce, and the third one is industry. Okay, now what is the meaning of industry? We will see that. See, a process of converting raw material into finished good by adding some utility to satisfy the human need is called industry. Okay, so first you were having only raw material, something is added to it and a finished good is produced. Okay, so that is nothing but that is known as, this work takes place in the industry. Okay, so see, manufacturing of furniture from wood, manufacturing of cloth from raw cotton. Okay, so this all thing take place in the industry. Okay, so in short, what you'll remember, the definition of industry, that is a process of converting the raw material into finished goods by adding some of the utility. Okay, you are for example, when you are preparing the furniture from the wood, okay, so furniture is prepared, you need many things, Fevicol is there, nails are there, so there are many different things which you are adding in it, and then you are preparing the furniture from the wood. Okay, so this is just an example of the meaning of industry. What is there next? See, production, economic activity, change in form of raw material, production of different article with utility, and in addition to them the use of human labor. You need the help of the laborers. Okay, natural resources and machineries are considered as the characteristics of industry. If they are asking you what are the characteristics of industry, so there are three characteristics of industry. First, what is there? That is, human beings are needed as a laborer. Okay, second, what do you need? You need natural resources. Okay, why natural resources? See, because wood is necessary, raw cotton which you will get from the cotton plant, that is necessary to prepare the clothes. So natural resources are there. This production take place with the help of machinery. So this is your third point. So if they are asking that what are the characteristics of industry, so the characteristics of industry are that you need three things. Okay, that is human labor, natural resource and machinery. Clear? Now classification of industry. So there are three types of industry: primary industry, secondary industry and tertiary industry. Okay, we will see that. See, first is primary industry. These industries are fundamental industries that are connected with land, water and air. Okay, see here, water here, what they have given, sea is given. Okay, so primary industry is normally that is connected with sea, land and air. Okay, so production activity is relied on nature. So remember this, primary industry is always relying on nature, because natural resource is not there, so production will not take place. Agriculture, animal husbandry and poultry farming, okay, are connected with land. Fisheries is connected with sea. Okay, so these are all connected industries, that is agricultural, animal husbandry where we are rearing the animals. Okay, that is goat, cow, like that. Poultry farming, that is chicken. Okay, all this so are connected with the land, and fishery is connected with the sea. So all these are coming under primary industry. Next is secondary industry. Various type of machines and technology are used. Here the nature wealth is processed to make some consumable and it is supplied to the customer. That is fertilizer industry. Okay, color and chemical industry, steel industry. So here some process is done on the natural resources, and from out of that some consumable goods are being formed, and these are reaching to the customer. Okay, third, it is a tertiary industry. It has a wide scope. Okay, it provide help and services to primary and secondary industry. Okay, so tertiary is helping whom? Primary and secondary both. It is very near to customer. Tertiary industry is very near to customer. Okay, remember that also. If they are asking that which industry is near to customer, so tertiary industry is near to customer. The product obtained from primary industry and secondary industry are made more consumable for customer with different processes. For example, see dairy industry, cold drink industry, bakery industry, and so on. Tertiary industries also included the service of banking, insurance, transportation, warehousing, agent, communication, etc. Okay, so here all the auxiliary services are needed. See, they have given an example from year till year how it takes place. Production of wheat, okay, when you are producing wheat in the farm, that comes under primary industry. Production of flour from that wheat, okay, from that wheat grain, okay, you are producing the flour, so that is coming under secondary industry, because with the help of machinery you will convert the wheat grains into a flour. Now from this flour bread is prepared, biscuit is prepared, so that takes place in a tertiary industry. See here there is then a bakery industry, okay. So this is the example of how the process of the production take place from primary to tertiary, okay. So here our chapter gets over. I hope everything is clear to you, okay. Let us see now exercise part, okay. MCQs are there, the answers are already given, so this I am not discussing, okay. Next, that is coming to answer the following question in one sentence each. What is an economic activity? The answer is on page number 9. See, you can see here economic activity, okay, activity carried out with the objective of economic benefit or monetary consideration, okay. So this is the definition of economic activity. Next is, which utility is created when goods are carried from place of production to consumer? So which utility is taking place? So place utility. Do not write down an answer only place utility. The answer will be, that is, place utility is carried when goods are carried out from the place of production to consumer. So write like this, okay. Then next is, what is profession, okay. So that is on page number 9. Okay, here there is a definition of profession: a person with specialized skill, knowledge, training and professional education renders service and in return receive fee. It is called profession. With example it is given, okay. Then next question is, what is employment, okay. So again page number 9, okay. So see, employment: to perform economic activity as per work assigned in return of fixed salary as per contract. Fixed salary is paid at fixed interval in return of physical or mental work, okay. So this is the definition of employment. Then next question is, what is required to be a professional, okay. So go to page number 5 and first characteristic, that is what we need to be a professional, okay. So page number 5, first characteristic, okay, a profession has to obtain special knowledge, skill and professional education. Only this much you will write, okay. Then next question is, that is, with what is trade? So that is page number 9. Here it is given trade, okay. Exchange of commodity or service in return of money means trade, okay. Then next question, with what is primary industry connected? So write like this: primary industry is connected with sea, land and air. Again I am repeating, primary industry is connected with sea, land and air. Next question, which industry is helpful to primary and secondary industry? So the answer is tertiary, but write down the whole answer, that is, tertiary industry is helpful to primary industry and secondary industry, okay. Then answer the following in short. Why business be called an economic activity, okay. So go to page number 2 for this particular answer, okay. So see, this you will write down: business is carried out, okay, with motive of getting profit and wealth. The concept of business is related with profit motive. Sometimes loss is also incurred even though it is economic activity, okay. So from your business till your activity, that is your first answer, okay. Then we'll see the next one, that is, state any two characteristics of employment. So on page number 5 the list is given, okay. So write down any two characteristic. Next, what is the objective of social responsibility of a business, okay. So go to page number 4, okay. From here till here your answer is there, okay. That is objective of social responsibility, okay, from here till group, okay. So that is your answer. Then next question, what is economic activity and non-economic activity? Explain with illustration. So page number 1 and 2 both the things are given with example, okay. So see, economic activity, Okay, from here, that is, economic activity means an activity carried out with the objective of economic benefit or monetary consideration till here. Okay, and the example is here given. Okay, see, example is given. Okay, till furniture. So this is economic activity meaning and example. Okay, non-economic activity is given here. Okay, that is non-economic activity. Okay, so here it is given person in the society. Okay, or you can write down non-economic activity is neither monetary return nor economic gain, or even you can write down non-economic activity from backside. Okay, from your non-economic activities there, see, activity without the objective of monetary consideration or economic earning. Okay, so that is known as non-economic activity. Example you can take from here, that is, see, okay, social worker carried out by social service carried out by social worker, nursing activity by mother. Okay, working for some propaganda for community, or helping in the relief camp. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, then our next question is, explain the meaning of a profession and its characteristic. That is given on page number 5. Okay, you can see. Then next, explain the difference between trade and commerce. Again, that is given to you on page number 8. Next question, that is, what is business? State the objectives of business. So again, the meaning of business is given on page number 2, and the objectives of business is given on page number 3. See, here they have not specified which objectives, so you have to write down both objectives, because the question is answer in detail. Okay, so you have to write down economic objective also and social objective also. Explain the characteristics of business. That is on page number 2. Okay, given. Existence of business is not possible without society. Explain the statement with reference to the social objective of business. Okay, so this is on page number 3 and 4. Okay, I'll show you. See, from here, that is, some social objectives are given priority for the benefit of society. The existence of business is not possible with society. So from here you will start your answer till here your answer is there. Okay, till 5th point, other objectives, because the answer is in detail with inside material, everything you have to learn. Okay, then next question is, what is business risk? State the causes of business risk. So that is given on to you on page number 4 and 5. Next question, distinguish between business, profession and employment. That is also given to you, page number 6. Give the meaning of industry and state its type. That is also given to you on page number 8. I hope everything is clear to you. Okay, still if you have any doubts, please ask.